Cool. Well, welcome to Mondays with Max, Sam.
Thank you. It's about time I cracked a nod.
You have to. I think everyone knows the name.
Yeah, it took long enough, but I had to just start putting in the really big hints lately, and then finally, I got the invite. So thank you.
Pleasure. So how are things going, and what can you tell us about yourself and 180?
I think myself, so been coaching probably around 8 years now. Was just looking for something. I've always been a believer in doing something that you love from a work perspective, and it is definitely something I've got a passion for, something that I love. And when we created 180, it was finding a group of people, or making sure that we've got a group of people that are very competitive, but in the same breath, we've also got a really fun vibe where we've got a lot of banter in the group. We've got anyone from the elite guys right up to the beginners that have just started, and everyone trains together, everyone helps each other, everyone feeds off each other's energy. And I think that's been the really sort of key part that we've got right within the group, where there's no kind of belittling and separating the elites from the other team. Yes, there is a certain separation at some point because you have got the stronger guys and the more sort of beginner and mid-level guys, but there is definitely a great sort of camaraderie and family that we have created.
And in terms of the elite athletes, do you push them beyond where they think they can go?
I think that's the biggest part, is you got to push them. And I do find a couple of guys that believe that they are probably more kind of mid-level, and I see kind of the elite potential. Those are the guys that I'm having to push a lot more, both from a mental perspective and from a physical perspective. The elite guys that are racing elite at the moment, I think, know what they're capable of. They know what it takes, so they know the hours, the work, the commitment and dedication. It's just putting the right program together and the right structure to make sure that you really do look after them, that, avoiding overtraining and burnout and stuff. But yeah, we've got a couple of really key guys that are coming up into sort of more of an elite category. It's just working with them to get them to that point. And
a bit about your racing history. I've had some insight from a couple of people that have mentioned your name, that you're quite a warrior in your day.
Back in the day, pre-kids. I got a couple of good, decent results. I've raced world champs in Olympic distance, half Ironman, Kona 2012, which I think was still my biggest highlight and best sort of race. Podiumed in quite a few Ironman races, half Ironmans. So I think Kona was definitely the big highlight for me. Both, I had a good race, but not a great lead up. But for me, just the race itself, the experience was just mind-blowing. So a couple of credentials, I should hoping to get back now that the kids are out the way. Those are the plans.
Do you want to go back to Kona?
Yes. Next year is hopefully the plan.
Awesome.
So I've got the pink ticket. So let's hope that all of this COVID stuff settles and we can get back to the Big Island next year.
Yeah, well, a lot of people talking about it, saying that it might play into people's hands in terms of having a full in November and then again in March could be quite a nice timing if you want to get a slot.
I think it depends from an Ironman perspective. So we've got 75 slots usually. I think guys have been talking because they don't really know how many slots, if Ironman's still going to be able to give out those full 75 and then 75 again in March, or if they're going to have to then reduce them, because there's obviously only so many slots for Kona or so many athletes can race. So it'll be interesting to see going forward once the races start again, what happens with the slots and how they start allocating with all the races that have been cancelled between now and obviously Kona next year. So we'll see. So it's either going to be an easy one or it's going to be a really hard one.
Well, we'll be there to see it. Hopefully just in front of you.
Always behind me.
Then if I'm a triathlete that's starting out, why should I phone you?
So we had a good look at it, and it's something I've been wanting to do for quite a while. We recently launched the new Evolve team. Robbie Jean is heading that up for me. So we've been working quite closely together, really getting a nice core group of beginners, like-minded, the same sort of capabilities, to make sure that those guys are looked after. We've got separate group sessions for them. And I think we've really got a good knowledge and a good passion for the beginners, where there's quite a big gap in the market. I don't think a lot of beginners are well looked after, and I see a lot of burnout, a lot of injuries coming through. So we've created that Evolve group specifically for beginners starting out in the sport, so that we can look after them, we can make sure that their program progresses right, and that we can get them to the start line as comfortable and as fit and injury free as possible. So,
and what is the passion that drives you? What is it about triathlon that gets you?
For me, it's the people are cool. That's one of the major things. I think a lot of sports, there's a lot of, I mean, every sport you're going to get interesting characters. For me, maybe I'm just biased, but triathletes are generally really down to earth, nice, accommodating, open people. And also just the three sports. It's not having to get on your bike every day or run every day. It's just the mix up between swim, bike and run, being able to do different races and different venues. You know, you've got the off-road triathlons, the different distances, the road tries. So it's really just a nice mix up. I think I'd get bored if I just had to do just one sport. So that's the key thing.
Have you seen a massive improvement in me?
Marginal. I mean, you did go like from an over 5 athlete to a sub 5 under my coaching. So I think so. I have definitely been watching my back a lot more since you joined. You had me scared in December, but we'll see now with my comeback after my op if there's hope. The virtual world is so far proving quite positive.
Yeah, it's not much to go by. Everyone's sort of saying it's quite fake.
I don't know. We're sitting at 3-0, so I'll take it.
How is lockdown? Let's talk lockdown.
Lockdown is busy. I envy the people that say they're bored. I'm not going to lie. 2 young kids, obviously keeping the team going, which has been pretty great, cool. We've had a really great team vibe going, and I think I've worked pretty hard to get that right. And it's definitely going well. The guys are training hard, but within their reach. And that's the other really key thing, where I've seen some other athletes or teams and stuff really putting in ridiculous hours. And although we've got the whole day, or some people aren't working, the key thing is to remember, I think, with the COVID-19 is that you still need a strong immune system. We're not all immune to getting it. So yes, train and keep yourself busy, keep yourself fit, keep yourself active. But also I've been monitoring programs and sessions and stuff to make sure that guys don't overdo the sessions, in order to kind of keep that fitness, but not overdo immune systems and all of that. So the team's been going really well. We've had a really great team spirit. We did a race this morning. We've been doing sort of shorter races, the 8K races and stuff on Zwift, silly little other challenges during the week. And it's really, really kept the guys, I think, both sane and fit at the same time. So it's busy, but it's going fine. Like, it's going well.
Yeah, with kids, it's not easy to find the spare time.
Yeah, I've been working. I mean, work and programs and all of that's been happening in the evenings when they're sleeping, because during the day it just doesn't happen. Every 5 minutes, mom, mom, mom. And I'm sure you know exactly. So strength sessions have been interesting. So strength sessions, they join me and you end up, your weight is the child and you're picking up, and it's quite entertaining. I've done a couple of time lapses of my strength sessions, which are pretty entertaining. But it hasn't been easy, that side of it, but it has been nice, I suppose, bonding a bit more with them. But there are definitely days where I would like to be a lot more bored than not. So
yeah. No, I suppose it'll all be over and we'll look back and think, hey, it was some good quality time that I wouldn't have had if it wasn't for it.
Exactly. Yeah, I know it's things like I've seen you with, doing. Obviously your wife's a physio, which is great because she's been pushing you through and doing certain sessions and strength. So that's the one really good thing I think that's going to come out of this is, also with our interview with Anna we saw last week, is the strength work. So the strength work is a major thing that I always push on the guys to say, you need to be doing not only swim, bike, run, but the strength work is what's going to get you strong and what's the lockdown's pretty much done. Is guys, a lot of people haven't got access to treadmills and haven't got obviously swimming pools, so a lot more strength work being done, which is really good. So I think that'll also help
going forward
outside the real world.
Yeah. No, well, appreciate your time, Sam, and thank you for the chat.
What are your plans, Max, for meeting me? I want to know. My question to you: what are your plans between now and Ironman next year, when we go head to head, the big race?
Is that the one, March next year?
Yeah, if it's in March, April.
Well, yeah. I suppose you got to, once the diary comes out, it'll be a lot easier. I think I'll definitely do full in November, maybe more from a experience point of view. It would only be my second full. I would definitely like to do a half. I'm hoping Durban is before full, because I really enjoy Durban. So yeah, potentially, if the diary works that way, if Ironman do it, Durban full, recover, Joburg Ultra, I don't know.
Oh,
I'd have to speak to my coach about Joburg Ultra.
I think we need a rematch there. Durban Ultra, Dubai, Ironman.
Yeah, and Dubai is really on the cards. I've made a lot of promise to kids that we'll take them to water parks, but yeah, once the diary's out, I think we can talk seriously. But I'd definitely like November under the belt, and then March a real good go. I feel my kids are in a good place, my training's at a good place. I'd like to see what I can do.
I think you've got the potential. I know you can do it, Max. 3-0.
We'll see. The proof will be in the pudding.
I'll look after you.
No. Cool. Appreciate it, Sam. Thank you for everything you do for me. Yeah.
Thanks, Max.
We'll chat again soon.
Key part of the team.
Sweet.
Cheers.